Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Diving into Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of the Bodo Glimt game, was asked about a couple of issues, the new turf, the artificial turf, a couple of injuries in the team, and also the squad rotation and how important it is for us to finish on top of the Europa League group. So I'm going to be diving into all that. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Now, first and foremost, Mikel was asked on whether the pitch will influence the team selection. And he said, what we think about is how we are going to win the game. That is it. How we win every 3 days in very different conditions, in different contexts, in different weather and different competitions. And that is the only way we are approaching this game. So, I mean, it's quite a bizarre question for me. Yes, I do understand pitches differ in terms of quality, in terms of, tenure and texture and all that. But I really don't think the team selection should be based on either artificial turf or green grass or natural grass or anything like that. I think Arsenal have really played in different stadiums, different pitches, worse pitches than you can even imagine. I don't think we should change our starting lineup, our selection based on the pitch. Yes, they're playing on artificial turf. It could be on their advantage that Arsenal not used to this kind of stadium. But in my opinion, it should not actually, affect our team selection. Mikel Arteta on if we have more chances of injuries, given that we're going to play on artificial turf, and he says we don't know that a player can get injured on artificial turf or even get injured in training. Obviously, we do know we do what we have to do to protect the players as much as we can. But at the end of the day, tomorrow for sure, we are going to have 11 players on the pitch. So there is a question whether artificial turf risks players more. Artificial turf, increases the likelihood of injuries, especially given the fact that Arsenal are used to playing on this natural grass, right? We're used to playing on that carpet at the Emirates Stadium and all that. But I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I mean, talk to me if you know some. If you're better than me in terms of pitches, stadiums, and all that. Is there a bigger likelihood that if you played on an artificial stadium, on an artificial turf, you could actually get more injuries than on natural grass? Yeah, maybe there could be some issues, but I don't expect us to pick up injuries just because we're playing on artificial turf. No way. I mean, Bodo Glimt always play there. Norwegian clubs always play on that ground. And we've not had any issues with, they're picking up so many injuries because they're playing on artificial turf. So I hope Arsenal don't actually use that as an excuse and we go on to win the game. Next, Mikel was asked on whether the pitch will affect his selection. And again, he says our selection is based on how we think we are going to win the game and nothing else. On why Gabriel Jesus was left behind, Mikel said we felt that with everything he's been through in the last few weeks, it would have been the better thing for him to do to stay at home. So Gabriel Jesus had some kind of head concussion in the Liverpool game. That was what was reported. He didn't train with the team yesterday, and today he has not traveled with the team that's going to be playing against Bodo Glimt. But for me, I don't know what you people think about this. In my opinion, I think Gabriel Jesus should be rested for these games. PSV, home and away. Bodo Glimt, home and away. FC Zurich, home and away. If we want Gabriel Jesus to be involved in the Europa League, it should be round of 32, round of 16, on the quarterfinals, semifinals, and all those levels. But right now, in the group stages, let the kids enjoy their football. Let the boys enjoy their football. We have already done so far so well without the help of any other, without the help of these senior players. You look at all the results we've picked up in the Europa League. We have scored the goals and we have done well even without the likes of Odegaard, the likes of Gabriel Jesus, and the likes of Bukayo Saka. So for me, in my opinion, Gabriel Jesus needs that squad rotation. He will need to rest enough. He's the only striker we have at that level, right? For me, it's the same as Thomas Partey. It's the same as Alexander Zinchenko. It's the same as Aaron Ramsdale. They are the only players that can give us what they can give us, right? They're irreplaceable in the starting 11. So, Mikel, I'm gonna say right here, he's gone with a very right option, letting him stay at home, letting him stay in London as we travel to Norway. When we come back against Leeds United, he's gonna be fresh, he's gonna be better, and I fancy he will score a brace against Leeds United. Mikel on Roma's 6-1 defeat against Bordeaux in Norway, he said, I think I mentioned it before in the home game, that what this team and the coaching staff have done in the last few years is absolutely remarkable, especially in Europe, because it's got more headlines to the rest of Europe. But without a question of doubt, the scores they have had here explain themselves. Now, Roma is a shit side. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. Roma is a shit side. In the last 3-4 years, Roma have been a team without a purpose. You look at the kind of recruitment they've done under Jose Mourinho, and how he's turned the team around. They should be absolutely grateful. And I don't think Arsenal should be thinking, oh, Roma's lost 6-1 here on the Asmira Stadium, so we should be scared. No. These are two very different teams. Arsenal full of confidence, Arsenal wanting to continue that consistency, and we want to continue winning and winning and winning. And currently, in terms of form, I'm gonna say this, it's only Napoli better than Arsenal in terms of form, in terms of playing well, in terms of scoring more goals, in terms of picking up more results and better results. It is only Napoli worldwide. You look at what Bayern are doing at home. They're struggling. Barcelona and Madrid struggling, and they're not actually giving us that football to the level. For me, it's Arsenal and Napoli right now, the two best teams in the world. So for me, I don't even care about Napoli's defeat. 6-1, yeah, that's impressive. You've done very well, but this is Arsenal. This is a very different kind of team, full of energy, full of passion, and full of young players that are really willing to prove a point. Next, Mikel Arteta on the Bordeaux supporters. He said they were really loud at the Emirates Stadium, really passionate, and I spoke to Martin about it. He mentioned to expect a great atmosphere here, and it's great. That's why you travel in Europe as well. Now, look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those people who notice an atmosphere or the chanting of an away fan base unless they are exceptional. For example, Marseille fans, for example, PSG fans, for example, Borussia Dortmund fans, Arsenal fans, and a couple of other fans. Unless you are exceptional, I don't really notice. But Bodo Glimt supporters deserve some credit. When they came at the Emirates Stadium, I feel like they were behind their team throughout the 90 minutes. Even when the game was far too gone, they were still behind their team. They were shouting, they were chanting, they were mesmerizing, honestly. I think that kind of passion is what we need to match as fans as we go into the Asmira Stadium. We need to back our team. We need to be behind them. We need to show these fans that, yeah, you love your team and, you know, you owe that. But this is one of the biggest fan bases in the world, and that is the kind of point we have to prove at the Asmira Stadium today at 7:45. Mikel Arteta on whether he has been able to practice on the artificial pitch. Mikel says no, we have not practiced on an artificial pitch. So look, I think in my country we have one. One is it's not world class, but I think the standard is up there. In terms of, you know, African football pitches. So I'm gonna get some time, try to run around, you know, see if I can pick up a few bruises and see what it feels like. But Mikel says the team has not trained on an artificial ground. Now, could this lead to Arsenal picking up a defeat or losing points? Probably, right? Probably, because they're used to the stadium and know that. But it should not come as an excuse. Right? We should use our prowess. We should use our influence. We should use our form. We should use our good run to beat them. But Mikel says we've not traded on an artificial pitch as for now. On Mikel Arteta on whether Arsenal are a target now that we are on top of the table. He says, I don't know how other coaches play their games against us. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus is a player who gets involved in a lot of physical contact. That is his nature, and it's now down to the referees to protect the players. Now, are we a target? Gabriel Jesus has been fouled in the Premier League more times than any other player. Last campaign, though, Bukayo Saka was fouled more than any other player in the Premier League. So are we being targeted because we are on top of the table? It is only natural. Look, clubs are going to have to prepare for us. Clubs are going to have to spend a whole weeks, hours, minutes, microseconds thinking and analyzing how Arsenal play. It's only natural. If right now, if you played Napoli, I'll be scratching my head how to beat Napoli, how to stop Vicha Varasheria, how to stop the likes of Ivan Lissano. It's natural. When you're on top of the table, you attract that kind of attention from clubs, from defenders, from all that. So for me, Gabriel Jesus, he's done really well in those physical battles, but I don't think he's being targeted, honestly. Of course, they look to stop him. They look for research. They do research on how to stop him, probably knock him down, probably don't allow him to receive in space, probably don't allow him to turn. But I think it's too early to say, well, Arsenal are being targeted because they're on top. If we are being targeted, it is only because we're playing well. It's only because our football needs to be stopped. Otherwise, we can rip through into the heart of any defense. Mikel on whether he is happy with the players' protection. And he says, I'm really happy with how our players are performing. And that's the most important thing. Then it's up to referees to protect them. Honestly, this until now, this season, I don't have a problem with regards to our players' protection. Apart from a few glitches in VAR, apart from a few glitches in the refereeing, which is understood they are only humans, I think we are okay for now. I've not seen these ridiculous challenges against our players, and they've gone unpunished. I've not seen any deliberate attempts by referees to make Arsenal lose a game. I've not seen any deliberate attempts by VAR to make Arsenal lose a game. And on the other side as well, I've not seen any attempts to make us win a game. So for now, I'm okay. I'm all right. I don't think we are really in a predicament when it comes to refereeing, unless otherwise in the future. Mikel Arteta on the incident in the Liverpool game. Now, listen, there was an incident between Gabriel Magalhaes and Jordan Henderson. Magalhaes says he had something that he did not like. It was along the lines of color. Okay, I'm not going to say more than that. Mikel says it is something I don't want to touch. It is in the hands of the FA, and I'm not going to get involved in that for now. But when you look at the situation, when Jordan Henderson says that, you look at Roberto Firmino, who is Brazilian. You look at Gabriel Magalhaes, who is Brazilian. And both of them react in a way that is quite disgusting. And I'm not going to pin Jordan Henderson. He's one of the players I really like in the Premier League. It's quite bizarre, but I really like Jordan Henderson a lot. But if he said anything inappropriate, let's wait for the FA and their decision. On whether he supports his players, Mikel says 100%. Look, as a manager, that is your first role. That is why Scott Parker was sacked at Bournemouth. Because when he came in press conference, he said, okay, these players are not good enough. The team is not good enough. We don't have the quality to compete. The first obligation as a manager, protect your players, stand for them, fight for them, don't throw them under the bus. The next is history, right? So I agree with Mikel. You've got to back your players and stand with them 100%. On Martin Odegaard being a wonder kid, Mikel says it's a journey he started in the spotlight very, very early in his career, and probably that's why he's so mature at his age right now. He's been around for so long that we forget how old he is. But it's a journey he took. He could not pick it. He was so good at that age. He got a lot of attention and dealt with it in a really, really positive way. At 15, Jurgen Klopp said he wanted to sign Martin Odegaard. At 15, he was signed by Real Madrid. That is just remarkable. And I was looking at some of the excerpts from his interview, Martin Odegaard, and he said, right now, I'm playing my best kind of football. That is what I want to do. I want to be happy. I want to have the space. I want to have that room for development. So for me, him being a wonder kid is the same as Kylian Mbappe. It's the same as Erling Haaland. It's the same as all these young talents, Phil Foden and Saka. But the difference with Martin Odegaard is how he has developed into a professional, world-class player at just 23. You look at Erling Haaland, you feel there is something lacking. You look at Kylian Mbappe, the age, the maturity, and how he's acting, there is something lacking. You look at all these other players, the Sakas, there is that element, he's still young. With Martin Odegaard, you don't even notice that. Captaining that Norwegian side, captaining Arsenal right now, is so mature for his age. Very, very mature. Mikel Arteta on the role of Martin Odegaard tomorrow. He says probably on the pitch at some stage. I don't know. Hopefully we can have some good time. It's obviously a really important moment for him. He loves coming to his country. You know how much it means to him, and it's a good opportunity for him to come back to Norway. I don't know. I don't know about the first thing Mikel said was Odegaard played a role in terms of researching about Molde, researching about Bodo Glimt as well, making sure that we know what we are up against. And it seems like he did a very, very good job, because when you look at the first half of the first leg, actually, we played Bodo Glimt as if we knew what to expect. We played against them in a way like we were playing a casual side that we played before. Actually, we had not played them before, so Odegaard has already done a very, very good job. Mikel on whether the pitch conditions could become an issue. Mikel says no, even if it's windy or rainy or snowy, that's no excuse. Our focus is to win every 3 days and find a way to do it every time. We've done it 3 times consecutively in October. Can we do it the 4th time, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th? Because there's 9 games in October. Mikel on whether being in Europe is a help or a hindrance right now. He says in terms of sharing minutes, that's for sure. That is for sure, it is helping us. It is something really positive, because there were players that didn't play a lot, especially in the first weeks, and our job is managing that. It's up to the players to perform and give us the right reasons to play and win. Playing in Europe is not a hindrance, in my opinion. Playing in Europe is an opportunity. And this is why. If you lost Odegaard today, you will trust Fabio Vieira. And the reason is, we know what Fabio Vieira can do, because he's been given time in the Europa League. So literally, the Europa League just helps you to sharpen up your squad players, sharpen up your players, make sure that they are ready for action when you call them, when you call on to them. Matana, we know now what to expect out of him. He's had some game minutes, so it makes your players active. It doesn't make you so. It doesn't make your other team or your other part of the squad very raw and unfit. So for me, Europe, always amazing to make the content, honestly, I can't lie, but also very amazing to see these travels. Hopefully I can make that kind of that kind of budget, try to travel to these games, make those fun vlogs, interview the fans, and do that. I'm hopefully planning on doing that, so I hope you guys can support me and we get there. Mikel Arteta on how Kylian reacted to not starting against Liverpool. Mikel says, like any other player, we know that we make the decisions always based on the best possible preparation to win the matches. And Kylian accepted that like any other player. I don't think there was anything big in it. Tactically, there was something big. But Kylian is not starting against Liverpool. He definitely knows he's going to be playing at left back the bigger part of the season when Alexander Zinchenko is not available. So I don't think there is anything to make a fuss about there. On starting games quickly, Mikel said every manager wants to start quickly and score in the first minute. But obviously, that is something that is not always possible. Our aim is always to attack, be dominant in the game, and get in the lead as quickly as you can. The one thing I've seen with Arsenal is, although we are very, very good at reacting in games these days, taking a lead helps us very, very much. Because when you take the lead, it gives the opponent a lot of information to process. Do we attack now? Do we sit back and let the emotions calm down? Do we let Arsenal come on to us? Should we counter-attack? So it gives them a lot of information to process. And should they take the wrong option, like Liverpool did, they will come, grab an equalizer, let themselves be exposed, and then they will concede a second goal. And eventually a third goal as well. So I think the most important part of our game is getting the lead quickly getting into the lead very early and trying to maintain the lead because we are possession-based team. So whenever we score, we have a lot of chances of not conceding early. You score, you manage the game. You score, you dominate the game, and that's what we've done in games like Brentford, like Liverpool after scoring the third goal, like Bournemouth. At times they can be boring because Arsenal has 3 and they're dominating and they're not even trying to score. But what can we do? Mikel Arteta on how Bodo Glimt compared to the other teams in the group. Mikel says they are one of the contenders to be at the top of the group for sure. And at the end of the games, tomorrow again we will have a very, very difficult test. I think they will be coming runners up in that battle with PSV. PSV is known for having stupid moments, right? Weak moments. And should they do that, they will be heading into the UEFA Conference League. Honestly, which team do I want to face later? It is Bodo Glimt again. So I want Bodo Glimt to come second, Arsenal first. Okay, so no questions about that. But of course, if they go through, there are high chances that they'll meet an Atletico Madrid, a Barcelona on the round of 32, or any other strong club, and they will be knocked out right away. On Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang saying he doesn't like, saying Mikel Arteta doesn't like big characters. Mikel says people are free to discuss what they want. That is none of my business. On the mood in the dressing room, he says phenomenal. I have never been in a better dressing room, more enjoyable, more hardworking, better relationships with the staff to players, and it's an absolute pleasure as a coach to be part of this group. Yeah, I remember there was a time when the Arsenal dressing room among the big 6 was the worst. Aubameyang was reaching late in training. Lacazette was the only leader we have. Xhaka was a leader that didn't deserve to be there. The senior players were rioting. They wanted to leave. And there were so many players on huge wages. They were actually crap. And there was a lot of blame. But right now, I think we've done a very good job in terms of organizing our dressing room. Mikel Arteta on if the incident at the end of the Liverpool game will be resolved quickly. He says, I don't know. It's something that I don't decide. Timings are really difficult to predict. The FA is now in charge of the situation, and we will have to wait and say on whether it's like a different sport playing on an artificial turf. But the man has said he's not trained even on an... okay, Mikel says, obviously, everybody is aware that there are a lot of things that are different. The speed is different. The way you can use the grass is different, and we'll have to adapt to it. We know that we are here to win the game, and tomorrow night, for sure, we are going to play on an artificial pitch. Okay, on how important it is to win the group, Mikel says, yeah, that's why every game is crucial. Looking at the group, tomorrow's result is going to be really, really important because we can eliminate playing an extra 2 games and the opponents that you'll be facing after that. So we know that we want to be on top of the group. Look, it's important in Europe to be on top of the group. One, if you top the group, literally, it means you play the rest of the group, the rest of the fixtures under no pressure. That is number one. If you top the group, we are more likely to play. I don't want Real Sociedad. Okay, if they come second against Manchester United, I don't want Real Sociedad. They're not an easy team. But apart from Real Sociedad, I would play any other team that comes second in their group. I'll play any other team that comes second in their group. The likes of, I pray we play, like a Sheriff Tiraspol. So the beauty of coming on top of your group is you get a weaker opponent on the round of 32. And it's highly likely that your road to the final is easier as compared to clubs that come as runners-up in their group. Yeah, that is Kosi trying to find an easier way to the final. And lastly, on whether other players haven't traveled, Mikel says a few players that were injured have not traveled. You'll find out later. So that is it from Mikel Arteta's press conference. I'll be back with the Arsenal team news and a couple of transfers as well. Lock it on Kosi's Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, and I'll see you soon.